Okay guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you are doing well. Today we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about careers and jobs and finding a job and knowing what to do. And some of you guys know my background. Like, I worked as a city girl for a very long time, and then I broke out of that, and here I am making YouTube videos as well as doing other things on the side as well. So I wanted to do something that will give you guys a little bit of a real life perspective, my perspective, and just give you some advice. I want to give a quick shout out to my sponsors, Diet Coke. I've partnered with them as part of the Diet Coke Break series. We've got videos over on Facebook. I have them linked in the description bar below so you can check them out, especially this one because I've done some career girl outfits with a twist. So I know what it's like out there, ladies and gentlemen. I know if you are fresh out of uni, or if you don't really know what you want to do when you're going to uni, if you are wanting a career change, I do know how difficult it can be because I put my hands up. I have been there. So a little bit about my journey is that, I firstly went to uni to study international fashion marketing. If you didn't know, I actually dropped out in the first year and changed to accounting because there was an accounting module. I liked it, and I heard accountants made more money, so I was quick to jump ship because I didn't like my fashion course. And I realized the reason I didn't necessarily like my fashion course is because I didn't necessarily I was connecting. I didn't really have any friends in the course. I didn't have anyone to talk to, and I was very shy. I didn't really know how to interact with new people, so I found it very difficult to just connect when I was on that course. And then I ended up moving to accounting, and I kind of accepted that I was going to be a loner on my accounting course, but I actually did end up making more friends on my accounting course, and I actually enjoyed that. And then after I finished university, I ended up on an internship program that I didn't necessarily have the qualifications to be on, but it was at a really top investment bank. It was a really good firm, and I did the internship, summer internship, and got the role. But I did have a year in between where I was in limbo, where I wasn't actually doing anything besides working in a hospital for a consultant. It was the most random job ever, but it was a job because I wanted to make some money, because that year I was broke. And then after I started on a graduate program, I was working. I was in that city girl lifestyle. I was about that life. As you guys can see me now, you can kind of see me in my quite fun, quite happy-go-lucky, kind of crazy random person. But when you're working in the city, and especially in that kind of corporate financial environment, there was not very much time for all of this, okay? I wore a shirt and a jacket, and I was just very serious. And I worked at that place for 2 years-ish, and then I was made redundant, and then I ended up continuing working in the industry, and I ended up working in consulting, which was literally the hardest job of my life. I've mentioned this to you guys many times. I used to, get into the office at 7, sometimes leave at 12. I will eat dinner, breakfast, lunch, snack, everything was all at that desk in my office, because when you're working on proposals and bids, there is no sleep, okay? You need to be doing FaceTime, you need to be working, partners need to be seeing you. The grind is very, very real. Like, you actually live that life. And then I ended up moving back into banking, working at a really nice banking firm. Loved this company. It was absolutely amazing. But what I was doing on the side was taking over. And then you find me where I am today. So yeah, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of tips and advice when it comes to doing your own thing if you decide to do it alone, but also if you want to kind of follow that career path. And I asked you guys questions on Snapchat, so I'm going to answer those for you guys as well today. So number one, if you are thinking about going it alone, make a calculated decisions, darlings. I didn't make my decision to do my own thing lightly. So I was working a good job on a good salary. To be honest, my salary, that I was on, and I'm not trying to show off or anything, and obviously when you work in the financial industry, it's a lot of money. It's a big wage, it's a big salary. And for me to just jump out of that was because I could see something more beneficial financially, but also more from what I wanted to do for my life. And I made like a 5-year plan. I was like, listen, we need to do some kind of calculation. Like, I had a spreadsheet and I had everything to help me make a decision when it had come to moving out of my job. So yeah, if you ever plan to just go it alone, it's okay to like just not necessarily jump shit. It's okay to do that, but do take some thinking and some planning beforehand. So my next tip is obviously to be patient. Everything takes time. Nothing just happens. I always tell people, listen, I've been on YouTube for 7-8 years, right? 4 years till I made a penny on here, and I worked the entire time while I was at uni, and then I worked my jobs, and I shared my job career while I was on YouTube. And you know, I continue to do it and, you know, grow my platform, grow what I do, look at what other options I had outside of it. And that all takes time. A lot of the time people see like a finished and shiny product and think, yes, they made it. But the reality is that anything that can come quickly can disappear just as quickly. And that saying of slow and steady wins the race, I think it's absolutely true. For me, I've loved the fact that I've taken my time with everything that I've done. More stuff coming soon. Keep your eyes peeled, ladies and gentlemen. But I love the fact that I've taken my time. And actually what I try to do is enjoy the process. And I think that if you are, you know, worried right now about anything that you're doing, honestly, just take a step back and look at the process and just enjoy the moment that you're currently in. And every single little thing that you work on is actually a stepping stone. And when you are just looking at the here, eventually you'll realize that you've got, you know, 10 steps up, and you wouldn't have realized how you got there because you were focused on what you were doing in the here and now. That's really, really important. One of the big questions that I get is, I don't know what to do. I don't know what career path I should take. I'm going to give you a confession, people. Most people don't have a clue what they're doing, what path they're going to take. They just keep grinding. If you see an opportunity before you right now, kind of take that. And then, you know, if you see another one, take that, take that, take that. Every opportunity leads you to somewhere. Don't get caught up in that I don't know the specifics of right now. Instead, just think, right now, here's an opportunity. I'll take that, I'll try that, and I'll see how it goes. When it comes to CV writing or anything like that, for those of you who are about that career ladder life, I've got a lot of people who are asking me about working in accounting, mergers and acquisitions, financial markets. The number one thing I think is important is to have a CV with experience. And so many people say, how do you get experience when you can't get a job? I know it is a catch-22. I know how annoying that is. However, what I think, and I know it's a balance because I know we don't all have money to work for free, but try and see what non-paid work you can get. Even if it's a case of you hound a company down and say, I just want to shadow for 1 day a week. I just want to have a meeting and watch what the manager does 1 day a week. I will just get his coffee 1 day a week. I'll just watch over his shoulder and do some typing for him 1 day a week. Now, no one's saying that you were there 5 days a week, 9 till 5, every hour of every day for the last 3 years. No one's saying that. But imagine if you did 1 day a week, even if it's 3 hours a week, shadowing a senior manager in an industry that you want to work in, right? And you're there for 6 months. You're going to learn something. And whatever you're able to learn from, you're able to put onto a CV. And you can use that as an example. And I also say when it comes to CVs, is you have to give real life practical examples. So I had a bunch of things that I would do. So I was doing mentoring. I worked in the young entrepreneurship. I was president of the Afro-Caribbean Society, and I had also done something where me and a group of guys, we came second place in like this entrepreneurship idea. We came up with a cleaning business. We did a proposal. I had all that stuff to say that I was doing something, you know, to put it on my CV. You know, be persistent in actually getting that experience. It might not be paid for. It might not be a full-time gig, but I think that everybody can commit to an hour or 2 hours to sit on someone's shoulders and not necessarily pester them, but ask them a couple of questions, learn a bit more, offer your time and your services for free. No one's saying permanently. You might still need to do a little night job or a side job. We do what we've got to do, but that is the way to get that CV experience on there. How do I make myself stand out trying to get a grad job in finance for next year? The biggest piece of advice is to brush up on your knowledge. If you know anyone in that industry, go and ask them questions, find out what's going on, relay that information to your interviewer. Again, when I got my internship, the reason I kind of got my internship was because I'd slightly been involved before. So I attended a Women in Technology dinner, and I was the girl who was a keen bean. I had gone there with a notepad and pen. I had pre-set out questions for all the women there. There was a senior manager, I was like, so where do you see the financial markets in the next 3 years? I've heard that this will be happening with regulatory changes. What are you going to do to hedge yourself against the risk of down market risk? Or I don't know what I was saying. I was just saying all sorts. Personally, I didn't actually know what I was talking about. However, I'd done a little bit of research. I'd spoken to my friends, and he's like, you should ask this question. How do I get a job in fashion marketing if I haven't studied it at university? Okay, so studying something in university doesn't necessarily mean that is the only way to get a role or learn how to do that thing. University is a step up, but most people don't necessarily use their course for what they do as a career. So if you have a passion for creativity, that's step one. Not everyone is creative, right? And I think that everything can be learned online. You know, I'm looking at going into creating my own fashion line coming real soon. And I am doing this by myself. I don't necessarily know much, but I'm going to teach myself everything I need to know. There are online tutorials, there are websites, there are YouTube videos, there are other people who have founded businesses, and I just listen and I learn, and I'm like, what did they do? What's the step that they did? I will take any little snippet and I'm going to apply that to whatever I do. What do I do if my college course doesn't correlate with the industry I want to go into in the future? I mean, if your current course is chemical engineering and you want to go into veterinary science, then I can understand why that would be difficult. But a lot of the time, courses and university is really to help build people's minds when it comes to learning to learn, because you have to keep learning no matter how old you are. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of miss that concept of doing my research, writing a thesis, doing my research, doing an exam, and that is life. Anyone who decides that they don't want to learn anymore, you're missing out. Don't think that education is over once you leave school, because that's when you're just, fail and won't be successful anymore. But if your course doesn't correlate, it doesn't matter. If there's an industry that you want to be in, apply the principles of learning that you're picking up on your course into learning about that industry. And if you can change course, then do that. Hi Patricia, when and what made you decide to quit your job and be your own boss? As I mentioned, me leaving my job was a calculated decision. I was not unhappy and I was earning good money, right? And the firm I was in was amazing, and shout out to everyone who worked at that company, because they know how much I had a good time, and it was probably the best place that I worked. And I wish that I'd got there earlier on in my career, because it's such a great place. But what I could see was that I had a lot of potential, a lot of opportunities coming, and I couldn't balance working with the opportunities. As I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I never had weekends for probably 4 years. I did YouTube on the weekends, I did YouTube on the evenings, I worked late at night, I would be out my house early in the morning, and all I did was YouTube and all that kind of stuff. And on my days off, I was going to do shoots, and I would take a Tuesday off or Wednesday off, and I'll go shoot here and I'll shoot there, come to work on Monday, and nobody knows that I would be shooting a campaign for a magazine, or I'd be shooting with a really nice, really amazing brand. Nobody would know. But eventually I couldn't match the number of days I would have to take off, and I couldn't do it. So I kind of came up with a plan and was like, right Patricia, I'm gonna make that move. How can you find a job within your passion and create a business with your passion? I think when it comes to creating anything, it's all about adding value. Where can you add value to something that's already existing? Can you make it better? Can you make it easier for people? Can you create something unique? And then can you add money to it? So even if you find a job in an industry that you want to be in, what is it that you think you can bring to the table that is going to make that job or that industry or that office better than it currently is? If you have a business idea based on something you're passionate about, look at what's already out there how can you make it better for people? And it's all about people. Whenever you make something, even when I make a video, I'm like, how is this useful for the person who's watching it? What value am I providing? It's important to be passionate, but it's also to be passionate about creating value for the person who's going to receive or use or touch or watch or eat your product. And that's what's important to think about. Okay, last question is, Patricia, what advice can you give to a young woman who wants to start a company but is afraid to take action because they're afraid of failure? How can you be fearless and just jump in? You just do it. There is nothing wrong with fear. We all feel fear. We're meant to feel fear. It's natural. But despite the fear you feeling, you do it. Like, you literally just push yourself and you're like, I'm just going to do it. Sometimes you do it like through gritted teeth. You just do that thing. Try it. If you're going to lose some money, lose it. And another thing I say, I learned this from a mentor, which is, if you're gonna fail, fail fast. Don't spend 5 years trying to fail. Spend 5 minutes failing. Spend 5 hours failing. Spend 5 months failing. Don't spend your lifestyle failing. Fail. If it fails, at least you know it failed, because I think it's worse to feel guilty that you didn't try to do something. And the more you kind of challenge your fear, the less fear you feel. So yeah, that's my advice. So guys, that is the end of this video. I really hope it gave you a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of insight into my story. And I find that I do get asked a lot about careers and jobs and doing my own thing. I mean, it's really important that people have what they need. Someone's going to give them some advice, some insight. It isn't that scary, but at the same breath, I understand that it is. So if I'm able to help one person out there, my life is made. Leave a comment below if you've got any thoughts on this topic, or if you want to share something, or if you have any queries, and hopefully I'll do it in another video as well. But in the meantime, make sure you check out the Facebook page where I've got my other videos as part of the Diet Coke Break series, and I've got one to accompany this one, which is about twisting up the classic workwear outfits. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.